Hi, my name is Muhammad Syahmi bin Joransa D202110999496. I am from 8016 ISMP Science and currently from semester 6. Now I would like to present about my summarized individual assignment 1 of DTT 3032 Isu Etika dan Profesional. And for topic 1 is computer crime and security. The term that I choose is cyber pornography. Cyber pornography, often known as internet pornography or online pornography, is sexual explicit content published and viewed digitally, typically via the internet. This content uses a variety of media formats including photograph, videos, audio recording, animation, and written text, all of which are intended to sexually arouse viewers. Unlike conventional forms of pornography, which were mostly limited to printed or physical media, cyber pornography takes advantages of the internet accessibility and anatomy of instantaneously reach of a global audience. Technological improvements such as high-speed internet connection, digital cameras, and streaming platforms have helped the spread of cyber pornography. These tools have made it easier for people to create and share explicit content online, removing conventional barriers to distribution and consumption. As a result, cyber pornography has become a common sight on the internet, with numerous websites, forums, and social media platforms hosting and disseminating such information. The accessibility of cyber pornography is one of its unique characteristics. Cyber pornography is accessible from almost anyone with an internet connection, unlike physical pornography, which could be restricted by law or social taboos. Concern around the exposure of minors to explicit content and the possible desensitization of viewers to sexual content have been raised by this accessibility. Moreover, the anatomy of the internet can encourage people to participate in unsafe of exploitation activities, like publishing private photos without permission or grooming and exploiting others online. Cyber pornography has greater influence on society as a whole than just how individuals behave. Certain scholars contend that the extensive accessibility of graphic material on the internet could lead to distorted sexual attitude and practices, as well as irrational expectation regarding sex and body image. Furthermore, the monetization of sexual and online pornography has the potential to strengthen power dynamics based on social identities such as gender and race, as well as damaging stereotypes. Similar to many other nations, discussion concerning online safety, regulation, and censorship has been triggered by issue of cyber pornography in Malaysia. Although the Malaysian government has taken to limit access to explicit information of the internet, proponents of civil liberties who support the right to free speech and the significance of safeguarding digital rights have criticized the government action. Additionally, conversation around online privacy, cybersecurity, and the obligation of content platform and internet service providers sometimes overlap with attempts to prevent cyber pornography. In conclusion, it should be noted that cyber pornography is complicated and diverse issue that affect the people on an individual, group, and societal level. The internet has made it possible to distribute and consume explicit information in ways never be possible, but it also has brought up significant ethical, legal, and societal value conflict that must be balanced with the right amount of freedom of speech. In order to effectively address this issue raised by cyber pornography, legislators, educators, and internet users must work together and have a sophisticated grasp of law, technology, and social standards. Topic 2. Intellectual property. First step is begun by visiting the official portal of Intellectual Property Corporation of Malaysia, MyIPO website, https://myipo.gov.my/home. Secondly, we must click on the copyright button at the upper right side of the website to make copyright registration. Before the software registration process begins, we must make sure the requirements. Then we must go to Form NV to check copyright register online. Typically, MyIPO offers electronic forms for us to fill in. This may include the software name, software purpose, software functionality, and others relevant details. Pay the required filling fees that associated with the application. The fee structure may vary depending on the type and scope of protective that you seek. Do not forget to check the current fees schedule MyIPO website, so that MyIPO will review your application to ensure that the application meets the necessary requirements. This may include verifying the product is authentic so that it will qualify for copyright protection. If the application is successful, MyIPO will issue your certificate of your copyright registration. This certificate will serve as your official documentation of your right and can be evaluated in legal proceedings. Depending on your nature of software, you may also want to explore additional IP protection such as patenting for innovative or processes, trademark for unique brand element, or trade secret confidential business information. For topic 3 is privacy and surveillance. Surveillance is the act of keeping of a close watch on people or places, typically to gather information or maintain security. It's something that happens all around us, sometimes without us even realizing. From security camera installs to government agency monitoring communication, surveillance is a part of modern life. There are various types of surveillance, each serving different purpose. Direct surveillance involves physical observing individuals in public spaces, often done covertly. Think of a security guard watching shoppers in a mall. Then there is pre-constructive surveillance, which uses tools like CCTV cameras to monitor public areas for any sign of trouble. For instance, a parking lot might have camera to detect theft or vandalism. Once information is gathered from this method, it's often reviewed in what called reconstructive surveillance. This when investigators piece together evidence obtained from direct and pre-constructive surveillance to understand what happened or who might be involved. Electronic surveillance takes things a step further by using devices like cameras, microphone, or GPS trackers to gather information. Imagine a detective placing a tracker on suspect car to keep tabs on their movement. Computer surveillance involves monitoring someone's computer usage, internet history, or online activities. Employers sometimes do this to ensure their employees are staying on task during work hours. In today's digital age, social media surveillance has become increasingly common. Investigators might monitor a suspect's social media account to gather information about their connection or activities. Financial surveillance involves keeping an eye on someone's financial transaction to detect any suspicious behavior like money laundering. Another type of surveillance is biometric, which uses technology like facial recognition to identify individuals. You might encounter this at airports or even your smartphone for unlocking purposes. But surveillance isn't just limited to private entities. Government also engage in surveillance, often in the name of national security or crime prevention. This can include mass surveillance programs that collect data on citizen communication or more targeted efforts like telephone taps on suspected criminals. However, surveillance raises ethical concerns. One of biggest issue is the violation of privacy rights and civil liberties. When someone is constantly being watched, it can feel intrusive and oppressive. There also the potential for abuse, as surveillance data could be used for purposes other than what it was intended for. Surveillance can also have a chilling effect on free speech and association. If people know they are being watched, they might censor themselves or avoid certain activities out of fear of repercussion. Additionally, surveillance can disproportionately impact marginalized communities. For example, facial recognition technology has been shown to be less accurate when identifying people with darker skin tone, leading to increased scrutiny and suspicion for those individuals. So, what can be done to address this concern? Individuals can take steps to protect their privacy online by using encryption and privacy tools. They can also be mindful in information they share on social media to minimize their exposure to surveillance. Advocating for legislative measures aimed at curbing both government and corporate surveillance practices is also important. This might include pushing for stricter regulation on data collection and storage, as well as increased transparency and oversight. However, despite this effort, it's challenging to entirely evade surveillance into the interconnected society. As technology continues to advance, so too will the methods of surveillance. Ultimately, finding a balance between maintaining security and protecting individual privacy rights will be an ongoing challenge for society. Topic 4. Computer reliability. Reliability is a cornerstone of computer systems, ensuring that they consistently operate as intended without unexpected interruption or failures. It's a kind of reliability we expect from everyday appliances like refrigerators or cars. You want them to work when you need them without any hiccups. In the realm of computers, reliability encompasses various aspects including hardware, durability, and software stability, all of which contribute to a seamless user experience. One of the primary reasons reliability is crucial in a computer system is its role in minimizing downtime and disruption. Imagine you are working on an important project or task and suddenly your computer crashes and encounters a glitch. Not only does this disrupt your workflow, but it also leads to wasted time and frustration. Reliable system, on the other hand, ensure continuous operation, reducing the likelihood of such interruption and maximizing productivity. Moreover, reliability is essential for maintaining data integrity. Computers store vast amount of valuable data, ranging from personal files to critical business information. Any compromise in the reliability of the system, such as hardware malfunction or software errors, can potentially lead to data loss or corruption. By ensuring that the system operates reliably, users can trust their data remains secure and unaffected by technical issues. Another crucial aspect of reliability is its impact on user confidence. Users are more likely to trust and rely on computer systems that consistently deliver accurate results and perform as expected. Whether it's accessing online banking service, sending important emails, or conducting research, users need assurance that the system they depend on will function reliably without unexpected glitches or errors. From a practical standpoint, reliability also contributes to cost saving by reducing maintenance expenses and minimizing downtime-related losses. Reliable systems require fewer repairs and less frequent maintenance, translating into lower operational costs for business and individuals alike. Additionally, the avoidance of costly downtime ensures that productivity remains high, further enhancing cost effectiveness. However, the importance of reliability computer systems are not infallible. The instance of unreliability do occur. One of notable example is the case of TRF-25, a radiation therapy machine that caused several patient deaths due to software-related malfunction. This tragic incident underscored the critical importance of rigorous testing and quality assurance measures in ensuring the reliability and safety of computer systems, particularly in sensitive domains such as healthcare. When considering the reliability of computer systems, it's essential to examine both hardware and software aspects. In terms of hardware reliability, all the devices such as Nokia and BlackBerry phones were renowned for their robust build quality and durability. These devices could withstand physical wear and tear with long-lasting batteries and resilient exteriors. In contrast, modern smartphones, while sleek and feature-rich, may be susceptible to hardware failures such as screen crack or battery degradation. On software front, older devices often run simpler operating systems with fewer features and less complexity. While this simplicity contributes to stability and reliability, it also means limited functionality compared to modern platforms like Android and iOS. Today's operating system offers a plethora of advanced features and frequent updates, but this complexity can sometimes lead to software-related issues such as crashes or security vulnerabilities. In conclusion, reliability is a fundamental attribute of computer systems, encompassing both hardware durability and software stability. Reliable minimize downtime, preserve data integrity, instill user confidence, and contribute to cost saving. However, ensuring reliability requires ongoing effort in testing, quality assurance, and adherence to best practice as demonstrated by the lesson learned past incidents such as the TRF-25 case. As technology continues to evolve, maintaining reliability remains paramount in delivering a seamless and trustworthy computing experience for users. Topic 5. Professional Ethics. The question is, describe the professional code ethic of software engineer who developed the MySejahtera mobile app on the 8 principle identity, morally responsible relationship, but based on only selected 4 principles: public, client and employer, product, and judgment. In order to guarantee the integrity, excellence, and moral application of the MySejahtera mobile app, it is imperative that software engineers follow a professional code of ethics. 8 guiding principles for ethically responsible relationship in the field of software engineering make up the IEECS/ACM Joint Task Force on Software Engineering Ethics and Professional Practices Professional Code of Ethics for Software Engineers. We shall concentrate on 4 particular concepts in this context, which is judgment, product, client and employer, and public. The public principle places emphasis on software engineers' duty to behave in this public interest, protecting people's safety, health, and welfare as well as those of their communities. The software engineer The MySejahtera app has a duty to put user data security on privacy first, making sure that private data is safeguarded and handled responsibly. To prevent unwanted access or misuse of user information, this entails putting strong security measures, encryption methods, and data protection system in place. Software engineers have duty to serve their client and employers with devotion, honesty, and integrity while maintaining professional standards and ethical practices. This duty is emphasized by the client and employer concerned. The software engineer working on the MySejahtera app has to put the needs of the employer, which is the software development company, and the client, which is government agency and health authorities, first by creating an application that is secure, dependable, and meets all their requirements. This calls for efficient communication, fairness, and responsibility at every level of the development process. The product principle centers on the duty of software engineers to guarantee that the product they create are dependable, of superior quality, and satisfy users and stakeholders' needs. The software engineer is required to follow industry best practices, standards, and guidelines when developing the MySejahtera app in order to produce a user-friendly, functional, and effective application that improve contact tracing and public health monitoring, reduces mistakes, vulnerabilities, and performance problems. Extensive testing, debugging, and quality assurance are all parts of this process. The judgment principle emphasizes how crucial it is to make decisions with integrity and professional judgment, especially when dealing with moral conundrum, conflicting interests, and conflicting objectives. The software engineer working on the MySejahtera app must exercise good judgment, critical thinking, and ethical reasoning when addressing concerns about security, privacy, accuracy of data, and user trust. This entails assessing the advantages and disadvantages of design decision, implementation plans, and policy choices in order to guarantee that the application complies with social norms and ethical standards. In summary, the ethical behavior of professional integrity and social responsibility of this involved in creating software applications such as MySejahtera depends on their adherence to the professional code of ethics for software engineers. Software engineers may help create moral, dependable, and socially useful technological solutions that serve the public interest and advance the common good by adhering to the principle of public, client and employer, product, and judgment. That's all from me. Thank you.